Hi, welcome to Noumena, the only place that's reverse engineered the College Board. We're going to show you how to solve these problems very quickly with mathematical precision and with 100% confidence. That means you no longer have to rely on the answer key, but purely on the power of knowledge. The mind is a powerful tool, and we're going to show you how to use it. Here's how it's done. Question 25. Last summer, when Mary's aunt and uncle flew from Turkey to visit their relatives and tour the United States, Mary invited Sanjay and I to her house to meet them. In A, we have flew from. Here we're going to test for idiom and verb tense. Well, I noticed that flew is in the simple past. Anthony Sonsonim, don't we need to look for tense clues?
We do. So what would be a tense clue here?
How about last summer?
That seems to be a great clue. It looks like an adverb.
Great. So last summer, that's in the past. Flew is in the simple past. It looks okay to me.
It looks fine to me as well. But how come you didn't go over idioms?
Oh, that's easy. We don't chase idioms.
That's right. We don't chase idioms. We'll feed them to you. So anytime you're worried about idiom questions, just understand that if a preposition is involved, there may be an idiom problem, but if you don't know it, don't chase it. Let's move on to B.
B, and tour. Is there anything special we need to note here as we look for coordination and parallel errors?
Absolutely. I want you to know that coordinating conjunctions such as and or are extremely powerful. Sometimes they can imply things that are part of set phrases. So in this case, let's look at the infinitive to visit. So flew from Turkey to visit their relatives. After and we have tour. It looks like a verb, but it certainly can't be parallel to flew because flew is in the past tense. And it wouldn't make sense because they didn't fly to Turkey last summer and then tour the United States now. So those two things can't possibly happen at the same time. But they did fly from Turkey to visit their relatives and to tour the United States. See how that works? So the tour here really is to tour implied. So oftentimes the and has the power to carry over the to in the infinitive. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, you may be very, very confused about parallel questions.
Great, so the coordination and parallel works. Alright, I think we can move on to C. C, I. Mary invited Sanjay and I. Here we're going to test for pronoun errors. Do you see any pronoun errors here, Anthony Sonsonim? I seems correct, but am I overlooking something possibly?
Yeah, I know I looks great, but it's wrong.
Ah, okay. So what should I focus on then? Maybe
Let's look at the verb invited.
Invited, okay.
Invited is one of those verbs that require an object. It's a transitive verb. Remember transitive verbs?
Oh, that's right. Transitive verbs. Verbs that require objects. Okay.
And so, in this case, invited is trying to receive the object Sanja and I. But I is not the correct case.
Oh, that's right. We need to change our case here.
We wouldn't say, could you give I a call tomorrow? We would say, could you give me a call tomorrow?
So we need the objective case.
Why don't you break it down for them, Brian?
Okay, so we said let's focus on invited. Well, Mary would be, I guess, the subject then. Invited is a verb, and since it's a transitive verb, we need the objective case to follow, which is Sanja. We have an object here, and I guess it would be I. We need to change I to me. So it looks like our error is actually here in C.
That sounds perfect. Let's move on to D.
D, to meet. Here we're going to test for modifier and verb form errors. Are there any problems here? I think something that you notice?
Well, let's do a check. Modifier questions often involve whether or not an adjective or an adverb is being used properly to modify a noun, in case it's an adjective, or an adverb, adjective, or a verb in case it's an adverb. In this case, to meet, the infinitive is functioning as the adverb to modify invited. So it seems to work here, and the verb form is correct. So why did Mary invite Sanja and I to her house? To meet the relatives.
So that looks like it checks out. And the verb form, to meet, it's the infinitive. That seems correct. And as you guys can see from our note above, we have our verb plus sometimes an object and the infinitive form. And as Anthony Sonsonim said a moment ago, we have to meet, which is our goal or purpose. Mary invited Sanja and I to meet her relatives. So it looks like D checks out. Well, that leaves us going back to C. We found an error in C. I was in the wrong case. It should actually be in the objective case. Mary invited Sanja and me. So we would need to go ahead and get rid of I and correct it by adding me.
When you do these problems, try to make the corrections. And if you're not sure about pronouns and their cases, go to our archives and look at our clips.
Noumena, empowering mind.